page 640. First of all, we notice that it's a solve question. So solve question often means you want to get something by itself. And initially, this looks like it's not possible to solve. We have sines and coses in the same equation. We've done substitutions in the past with sine and cos, but that only works if it's sine squared or cos squared. You can't do any substitution with sine. But this is where, if you have your formulas mostly memorized, then you would say, hey, there's a formula that has a bunch of coses and a bunch of sines. Which one is this? If this is my alpha, and this is my beta, and this is my alpha, and this is my beta, I have cos, cos, plus sine, sine. That one matches up to cos alpha minus beta. So the first thing I'm going to do in this question is use my formula on the left-hand side and switch all four of those to cos 4x minus x. That reduces this to cos 3x equals 1. So we started off this question and we recognize that we have one of our formulas. We don't know if it's going to help us, but as a mathematician, you see something, you're like, I'm allowed to change that. I'll change it and see what I get. And this is what I got. Do you recognize what kind of question it turned into? We gave this one a name. Remember the name of this one? If you, there we go. Not yet? Remember what it was called? See, and the reason I give them names is because if you remember the name should trigger for you the steps of how to solve it. And it's a multi-revolution. We call these ones multi-revolution questions. So then we have to go into our brains and say, all right, how did I solve those questions? Step one in a no idea. I had spring break yet. Completely gone. Step one in a multi-revolution question was to rewrite the domain for 3x. If x is between 0 and 2 pi, then 3x's would be 3 times around our unit circle between 0 and 6 pi. That was step one. Step two, we then solved for 3x over its new domain. So we're going to go 3 times around. Is cos ever equal to 1? Yes. Right here. Right? Cos is the x coordinate. So that's going to be 0. Then once around the circle would include 2 pi. Twice around the circle would include 4 pi. And the third time around the circle would include 6 pi. But unfortunately, the way the textbook wrote this question, they didn't have an equal sign.
Sorry for the interruption. Would Ms. Teschner please report to the office? Ms. Teschner, please report to the office.
They didn't have an equal sign with a 6 pi, so 6 pi has to not get included. Then after you have solved for 3x, you can now solve for x by dividing each of them by 3. And your answers for x are in the domain for x between 0 and 2 pi. So what was initially something that didn't look like multi-revolution at all, by doing some manipulation, then we came into a question that we've already solved. So ones you can do for this one are 15 and 17. So I would like you to do question number 7, get really good at those pi over 12 ones, and then once you're done, try questions 15 and 17.